All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Today we have payrolls. We got ADP labor report. We got retail sales data. We got more stuff coming out after the open as well. So we got a lot of stuff coming out today. Specifically, 8:15 in about an hour, we got the ADP prelim weekly employment report. Following that, we have 15 minutes later the actual official government non-farm payroll labor report. Last time the ADP report showed up at 4.75 thousand. And then we also have retail sales again, 8:30, housing starts 8:30, non-farm payrolls 8:30, unemployment rate 8:30, manufacturing and services flash data for December 9:45. And then at 10 a.m. we got business inventory. So we got a lot of different reports today. Yeah, 8:30 specifically is when most of it's consolidated too, but we got other times as well. And yeah, it's a big day. Honestly, a lot of stuff going on. Now this will be the December report or the November report. The NASDAQ is pumping up. Bitcoin's pushing back. Most things I think are still, let me see, hold on. Yeah, so the QQQ NASDAQ still technically red on the day. The SPY itself is technically green as we speak right now. It's slightly green. You can see the previous closing price on the SPY right here. It's right around 680.72. We are at 680.80s. So slightly green on the SPY. Gold, red on the day, but starting to rebound back up. Bitcoin, kind of a similar story. But I think Bitcoin's technically red on the day. Bitcoin closed the day yesterday at around 86.3s. It is now at 87s. So Bitcoin back up a little bit. And this is after a lot of stuff has fallen in the last 24 hours. So, yeah, we got some stuff to cover. We got some stuff to cover today. You'll love to see it. Again, non-farm payrolls due 8:30. November's delayed employment report is going to put in October payrolls as well, although October's unemployment rate will be absent from the shutdown halted survey collection. So we're going to get October's data as well as November's data. There's no consensus for the October report though, but for November, analysts are expecting 48,000 jobs to be added to the economy, down from 119,000 in September. We did have Fed Chair Powell telling us that the BLS data may be overstating job growth by around 60,000 per month. The November unemployment rate was seen at 4.4% versus September, slightly below the Fed's projection of 4.5%. The Chicago Fed unemployment rate estimate has edged up from September, though, and ADP data was mixed, showing job gains in October and losses in November. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're getting some October data here, some October data. Again, last week, the Fed reduced rates 25 basis points. Yeah, and remember, guys, so ADP's report showed private employers shedding 32,000 jobs in November, described hiring as broadly flat through the first half of 2025. And ADP data can be more accurate than the actual report recently, especially. I'm not saying it will be, but it can be. Yeah, it's all good, brother. It's all good. Pawn. I figured, like, again, I didn't figure it would go up this morning. I figured it would drop, you know. So the fact that we're mostly, I think the market's waiting on this report. Again, the SPY is almost exactly flat. Like the previous closing price on the SPY is here. SPY is technically right there. So we are almost exactly flat on the day on the SPY. NASDAQ is a little bit more red, but not much, and it's pushing towards the previous closing price. If we look at the NQ, that's around 25,348.75 is what I see here. So, yeah. So we got a lot of stuff today, honestly. A whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of reports. Retail sales would be interesting to see what that looks like as well. NASDAQ's now pushing up, though. But again, things are still technically red on the day. NVIDIA now green on the day, though, so that's good. Again, look at gold here. Gold making a jump back up to 4,300s. But I think the market's just waiting for this report. I think the market wants this report. I think it's waiting for this report. I don't know if it's going to change the rate odds that much just because we do have another report in December. for December and January. So we do have another labor report in January that we're going to be getting for December. And I think that might be the one that moves the Fed odds for January a little bit more. But this one will at the very least move it a little bit, I think. You know, I think we're going to see some move. People are going to be watching to see if, yeah. So Chair Powell had a dovish tone, emphasizing downside risk to the labor market over inflation in the last FOMC meeting. I think that's an interesting way to look at this report. He warned of a persistent 60-month overcount in non-farm payrolls that policymakers believe has yet to be corrected, and said that while layoffs and hiring remain low, labor demand has obviously softened, is what Powell said. Adjusting for the overcount implies job growth averaging around 20,000 negative jobs per month, negative 20K. And so we'll see if they revise this data at all for last time. We'll see if we get, like, I think a lot of people were mostly shocked when we got 119,000 jobs in the last labor report. I think a lot of people were like, how? You know, especially with ADP showing differing numbers. And so I'm wondering if they're going to revise it either this month or next month for that 119,000 labor. Again, even Powell said maybe we're overestimating jobs by about 60,000 a month. Markets are pricing in a little bit over 225 basis point cuts next year. So, what's up, Aura? Tech, Daniel, Nick, Mama Pawn, Lee, Doda, Pawn, Ava, Super, Middle, VA, Keegan, Trader, E, Brian, Rick, everybody else, I guess, Dave, Bale. What's up, guys? Good morning. All right, so let's do a poll here today. And what's a good question for this poll? Do we see strength or weakness in labor today? In today's labor reports, which is multiple. All right, so we got strength, weakness. Vote on that poll numbers. I think most people are going to think weakness because I think that's just been the trend in labor the last 6 months. But yeah, Nvidia now technically green on the day. Again, big tech and AI is mixed to weaker in pre-market. Crypto is under broad pressure. It's around 87,000 right now. Sentiment is fear, liquidation spikes, thin liquidity, and headlines about parabolic trend breaks in crypto. Yeah, looking at the poll so far, 72% of people think weakness. 28% of people think strength. Yeah, I mean, the markets pulled back heavily. We did an overnight repo operation that scared markets last night. Yeah, so the Federal Reserve injected $5.2 billion into U.S. banking via overnight repos. 6th largest liquidity injection since 2020. It surpasses liquidity levels seen at the peak of the dot-com bubble and signals tight short-term funding stress in markets. NASDAQ originally reacted negatively to this. This was at about 8 o'clock last night, a little bit earlier than 8 o'clock. Bank of America says bull and bear indicator at 7.9, close to a sell signal. Says positioning big headwind for risk assets, AI bubble, biggest tail risk for investors, followed by disorderly rise in bond yields. Dan Eves said that Microsoft will be at a $5 trillion market cap in 2026 as AI revolution hits its next stage of growth. Wedbush tech analyst, again, Dan Eves told Yahoo Finance Microsoft's current market cap is about $3.59 trillion. He said, quote, "We've seen a lot of the ecosystems really start to move towards us to help us create this future." Yeah, so Bitcoin sold off. A lot of people say it was fueled by leverage liquidations. What do you guys think the non-farm payroll numbers are going to come out? Also, I see China created 12.1 million new urban jobs in January through November. What's your number here, chat? Yeah, I'm bad with names. It's Ives? Well, I'm sorry. Ives. Never again will I mispronounce it. The data is above you. Do you think Bitcoin price is going to dip below Sailor's purchasing price? I think we're getting kind of close to it, but I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I think we're getting close to it. Look at this 300 level. If there was a dip to buy, it would be this. I'm not telling you to buy it, though. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. I can't guarantee anything. Understand all this stuff on screen. Because I am not an investment professional, guys. I'm not liable if you lose. Today, we have non-farm payrolls and unemployment reports, so we could also get choppiness today. If we take a look at yields and rate odds, 10-year Treasury yield is sitting at 4.174%. Still pretty close to 2 or 4.2%. Looks a little higher than it was yesterday when I looked at it. Yeah, it was lower yesterday. We're a little bit back up there. We're at almost 4.2% this morning, 4.17% right now for yields. If we take a look at the Fed Watch tool here, Fed Watch tool sitting still basically where we are. We're at basically 75.25 here. 75.25 and with the highest likelihood of a pause as of now. Now we'll see if this data ends up moving it. We'll see if this data ends up moving things, but yeah. We did bounce right at 300. Look at that bounce, exactly at $300. You love to see it. I should have taken it. All right. I think, again, we got ADP data. ADP data, 815. So, again, last time ADP data came in at a positive weekly average of 4.75K. But today's a huge day. Honestly, a huge day. We got so many different reports coming out at 8:30 and at 8:15 and at 9:45 that this could lead the week, especially with it being, we're getting pretty close to the holiday. It's cold here in Texas, guys. What's it like where you live? Hold on, let me see the temp here. It's 35 degrees here, man. That's cold for me. I'm not used to it. I'm from South Louisiana. I'm not used to this weather. This is my weather right now, guys. My son's gonna still fight with me about wearing a jacket, though. And I know I haven't pulled up the chat since I asked this question. I already know what y'all are gonna say. Y'all are gonna say, "Hey, John, I live in Antarctica. It's not cold where you live." Like, some variation of that is what I'm gonna hear. Like, again, I'm not even looking at the chat. Let me pull the chat up now. -10. It will be the 70s by noon, really. Honestly, that's true. Honestly, that's really true. Genuinely true. It's 19 degrees here. Still beach weather in Florida. Yeah, Florida doesn't count, bro. Florida just doesn't count. You know? That's what I expect, Chris Barnes. I live in the South Pole, -24. You're not cold. Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured I'd get some variation of that answer. All right, guys. Nvidia at 177s. Gold at 43.19s. Rather come to Norway. Honestly, Norway looks like a beautiful country. You know? Yeah. Honestly, before this conversation, Kay, I assumed you lived on the top of Mount Everest. That's what I assumed. Right? I already knew that. I feel like, you know, just by the way you spoke, I was like, you know what? That guy lives on Mount Everest, you know. Anyways, the NASDAQ did bounce at 25,300. All right, guys. Again, 59% think we're going to have weakness in the labor reports today. 41% think we're going to have strength. Honestly, I'm surprised we have 41% of people here thinking that we're going to have strength in the labor market. Maybe we do. I mean, listen, it is the government labor report. So I would say if numbers were skewed to one side, it's going to be to strength. Bounce back. What do you guys think price action is going to do today? Again, gold popping up. Gold's pretty close to all-time highs. It's less than what? It's like $70 away from all-time highs. $75 away from all-time highs for gold. Nvidia green on the day, still under 180s though, so still I would say weakness. Bitcoin under 90,000, so still looking a little weak, even with the rises. All right, guys, look, I should have bought this dip at 300. Was thinking about it. And again, today is a huge day. We got the last labor report we got was for September. The last labor report that we got from the government was for September, showed 119,000 jobs, shocked a lot of people in the strength. Unemployment did come in 0.1% higher than expected, though. I think previously unemployment showed up. Yeah, I think last time we showed up at 4.4%. I think they expected 4.3 maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go back and look at what the expectations were for the September labor report. Today, they're expecting unemployment to bump up to 4.5%. 4.5%. So I'm curious to see what we get today. Again, I don't know what we're going to get. The odds of Kevin Hasset being the next Fed chairman have actually gone down a little bit. Now it's Warsh. Now Warsh is the majority bet, I think. And so that's interesting here. Who do you guys think the next Fed chairman is going to be? He's going to be dovish regardless, at least initially. Guess I need to get my short bias out of my head today. I like shorting. I just go with the trend, right? Like, I just go with the trend. If the trend is up, I go up. If the trend is down, I go down. The only time I'll take reversal trades is if we have like the steepest candle ever. Like an example is if this was to go like this and just be so steep, I might short it here and just look for like a little dip and then cover somewhere around here. You know, like that's the only way I'll really attack like opposite trend strategies. And honestly, I would say I probably do a little bit better buying pullbacks versus shorting the steep candles on the upside. And so outside of that, I try to just go with the trend. And I usually just look for a reasonable pullback like this. Like, remember, I talked about 300. I usually just look for a reasonable pullback around a whole dollar number or something big and influential in terms of a level. And a lot of the time we get it. You know, like I said, when we were pulling back here, I was like, hey, let's see if we bounce at 300. And then we did. I didn't actually take the trade, but kind of the trade idea remains. Not an investment professional, though. Yeah, silver, another thing that's been moving a lot lately here. Silver up to 63s. I mean, do day traders play pure chart data or macro? I do a little bit of everything. I look at like macro and like long-term stuff. I would put more weight on short-term stuff. I look at milestone levels, like long-term levels. I look at economic data, you know. But it depends on how long I'm holding the trade. If it's just in futures, I look at everything and I use that to kind of get an idea of what I want to do, but yeah, oil still struggling. Silver over 60 still. Oil down to 55. Yeah, Netflix at 93.40s. Yeah, we'll see what the opening bell brings. Again, we got economic data coming out pretty soon here. Less than an hour before ADP data, less than an hour before NFP report. Here, let me get a timer up here. I'll put the timer up for ADP data first. Yeah, so what is that? 37 minutes from now? 38 minutes? Yeah. Okay, so here's the timer. ADP data drops in 37 minutes here, chat. 37. I saw 24-hour trading got approved. Personally, I'm against it. I want the consolidation of volume at the opening bell to remain. I want the consolidation of volume to remain. That's what it's going to change patterns, strategies, a lot of stuff. I don't know. I'm just against it. It's going to open up more manipulation. Markets are going to be open all night. You're not going to be able to watch them as easy. It's just going to be... I'm against it personally. NFP is at 8:30. So at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we have NFP data coming. Yeah, so Treasury Secretary Bassett says, guess we will see Fed chair announcement in early January, but also guess Supreme Court ruling on tariffs in early January. He's on Fox Business right now. So Bassett is speaking right now as well. Bassett says the president has been very direct in interviews on policies. Says we may have one or two more Fed interviews this week. He said plenty of revenue alternatives to IEEPA tariffs. He says we'll shrink budget gap several $100 billion US this year. And again, he said, I guess we'll see the Fed chair announcement in early January. So again, Bassett is speaking right now on Fox Business. Again, he said the president has been very direct in interviews on policies and that they may still do one or more Fed interviews this week. So he is speaking right now. Nasdaq's falling down a little bit here, though. Again, looking at our poll, we're about 60-40 right now in terms of weakness strength. Yeah. Yeah, look at that 300 level again. It doesn't mean we're not going to push down underneath it now. But the 300 level again, holding it up. Again, oil's down big today. Again, the SPY is now slightly red on the day. It was green for a little while. It's now technically red on the day. Slightly red. Who's going to be the next Fed chairman, guys? That's what I'm curious about. I'll have to use a different profile picture besides Powell. All right, so Bassett says Warsh and Hasset are both very, very qualified. Says one candidate didn't have good answer on Fed's PhD ranks. Rejects the idea that Hasset couldn't have agency at the Fed. All right, guys. So, I'm looking to see if Bassett's still speaking. Again, Bassett said a couple things this morning. We have 33 minutes before the NFP report coming out. Again, last time the not NFP, last time the prelim Here's the announcement. So we are going to get ADP's usually a little bit late though. All right, so look, we bounced again at 300s here. We bounced again at 300. That 300 level holding firm back up here. I'm wondering if we're going to have a big range of a chop leading into some of these reports. Again, today is the 16th. We are going to get the next weekly prelim estimate, and then we're going to get another prelim estimate on the 23rd next week on Tuesday. Well, yeah, they're two Kevins. What's Hasset or Wash? It's Kevin Wash or Kevin Hasset. All right, NASDAQ just broke highs of the day. Is this highs of the day? Hold on. Yeah, highs of the day on the NASDAQ here. Look at this level hold here, man. Dude, I just got the greatest levels ever right here. Look at this. Look at that. Again, the big non-farm payroll report goes live 8:30 Eastern Standard Time today. 8:30. Look at that pullback here. I almost want to buy this though. Hold on, let me. All right, I'm gonna try to buy this. Hold on, let me. If I can get to my account fast enough here, I'm gonna try to buy it. I'm gonna buy this right here. Maybe add to it. Here we go. Maybe add a little bit more. There we go. I'm gonna take half off right there. I didn't need. I'll add it back if we need to, or here maybe. Again, it's ahead of the FOMC decision, so maybe we'll get chopped. We got a cushion now on the day too from taking profit on the bounce. There we go. Honestly, I'm surprised the market moved that much anyway. All right, we're gonna take another half off here because we got an immediate bounce. I'll leave the rest and hold it break even, but hopefully it pushes back up. All right, in a second, I'm going to put the, hold on, it looks like it, I hope it goes up, but it looks like it might come back down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to cut this here. So we're green. Yeah, I mean, gold, silver, elevated over the last 20 minutes. Still red on the day, though. Gold pulled back a little bit with everything else yesterday, especially with the repo. Again, Bassett said the Fed is an unelected institution that lost trust. Again, Bassett reject the idea that Hasset couldn't have agency at the Fed, said Warsh and Hasset are both very, very qualified. Says the president's been very direct in interviews on policies. Yeah, I probably could have held it, but it's all right. Again, I think this is choppy, and I think being choppy ahead of these big reports makes sense. You know, the prelim NFP report, the ADP data, comes out at 8:15 in 30 minutes exactly right now. So we will see. I could have held this. It looked like it would have worked, but President will keep Powell's chair. That way, President can keep blaming. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Powell has been cutting rates like the Prez wanted, you know. I try not to get too deep into the politics, but Powell's been cutting rates, as he should be, I think, with the data. You know, I think people get really political about things, but, like, the labor data's been weak, and I think everybody kind of sees it, and they're worried about it, and, you know. But there's two sides of the mandate. I don't want high inflation either, so I get people that fear inflation as well. All right, guys, NASDAQ. I could have held this. NASDAQ would have kept ripping, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, I think Powell could have cut rates a little bit earlier. But I also think, you know, they're worried about the dual mandate. But I think he did start cutting rates. He cut rates this month. He cut rates last month. Or he cut rates in October. He cut rates in September. So I'm neutral. We're at 43.20s here. 43.20s for gold. Still pushing up. VWAP worked really well on gold. I have to start looking for VWAP trades on gold. But again, the NFP report today specifically is expected at 40,000 roughly jobs. 40,000 roughly jobs. 25 to 40,000. In some places I'm showing, oh wait, that might be for October. So October data showing 25 to 40,000. For October data. Government payrolls last time showed up at 22,000. Today they're expecting negative 35,000 for October and negative 3,000 for November for government payrolls. That's an interesting dynamic because the shutdown influences that stuff. Manufacturing payrolls expected at maybe 5 to 12,000. Private payrolls expected at about 20,000. So yeah, we're getting, guys, just to put this in perspective, we're getting October data today. We're getting November data for jobs. So we're getting October non-farm payrolls, October non-farm payrolls, November non-farm payrolls. We're getting October manufacturing payrolls, November manufacturing payrolls. We're getting October government data payrolls, November government payrolls, and more, right? So we're getting a lot of different stuff here today. A lot of different stuff. We also get retail sales. Retail sales expected at 0.2%. Previously, it showed up at 0.2%. Again, unemployment rate expected at 4.4%. Yeah. All right, we're at the bottom of the range now. Look at that big pullback here as well. So we did get a big dip. I don't know if Hasset's still speaking. Let me see. Yeah, or Bassett. Bassett says, again, this is not Bassett, but China's economic growth expected to be around 5% this year, 2025. Bassett says 2026 will be bountiful if we don't get another shutdown. Bassett says Bassett says we'll finish with 3.5% GDP growth, says Senate GOP to get rid of the filibuster and keep government open. China's economic growth, again, expected to be around 5%. They call for more proactive fiscal policy next year in 2026. Bassett, on the other hand, says people should be stressed. He said expect substantial drop in inflation the first 6 months of next year. We'll see. Yeah, we got some stuff coming out today, guys. It'll honestly be a busy day. It'll be a busy day. Remember, in 23 minutes, we got the ADP report. Last time, ADP report showed a slight average weekly gain of 4,750 jobs. Today, we get another weekly average. Dude, just looking at all the data we have today, man. We have October data, November data, retail sales data, average hourly earnings data, unemployment data, non-farm payroll data, government payroll data for October and November. NFP's at 8:30. 8:15 we got ADP data. NFP data is at 8:30. So today we get ADP and NFP data. The NFP is obviously the bigger one, but Yeah. Look at this range here, though, in the NASDAQ here. I mean, obviously, we got this range. And I think it makes sense to range, at least until we get ADP data, maybe into NFP data as well, just because traders are going to be more apprehensive. They're not going to want to take big positions ahead of the payroll report. Not as much, at least. So... as unemployment goes down, inflation goes up naturally. Yeah, I mean, that's just because more people are spending because they're working. So they're spending and inflation can rise. That makes sense. Hal's not retiring today for sure. Hal's stepping down in May of next year. Again, we're going to have one of the Kevins. Kevin Warsh, Kevin Hasset is going to be one of them two is going to be the next Fed chairman. I think the odds were for Kevin Hasset, and that's who I thought, but I think the odds for Warsh went up on some like rumblings about people close to the president not wanting Hasset or something like that. That's what I heard. Again, I don't know for sure. I'm not really into politics. I saw that this morning that the odds had switched on odds maker sites. Again, Nvidia up to 177s. If we take a look at Meta here, Meta is almost green on the day. It's 645. Apple 273. Microsoft had some news, spiked, and then came back down. It's at 474 here. Google, green on the day, almost at 310s. AMD is slightly red at 207s. Taiwan Semiconductors at 288s. Palantir, 182s. Tesla, 473s. Wouldn't bad data fuel more rate cuts? Yeah, if we come in lower than expected, it might increase the odds of rates. Now, again, I think because, again, so the next rate decision is at the very end of next month in January, right? So the next rate decision is like January 29th, I think, or something like that. We're going to have another labor report coming out after today's, before the next Fed meeting. It's going to be sometime in January. So a lot of people are expecting that labor report to move the odds of what we do in January up or down more than this one. Right, so we're going to get another labor report. Let me see if we have it scheduled here. January 9th, we get another labor report. The Friday, January 9th, we get another BLS labor report, covers job growth, unemployment, just like today's, but it's going to be with more recent data from December. And so I think that is going to move markets a little bit more. That's going to move odds of rates a little bit more than today's. Although today's encompasses two different months, right? And it's 25.75 basically right now in rates. Again, yields are sitting under 4.7%, so they went down a little bit since the last time I looked at them here. Yeah, they decreased a little bit, but we'll see how these things move. Again, we got about 20 minutes left until we get the ADP report. And the ADP report is at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Again, people are talking about Oracle. Oracle's been getting hammered. Although, again, I'm in Oracle. It's so small, though. Let me see what. Yeah, I'm in it. It's small. I'm probably just going to stay in it. So I keep saying 15 because we have the ADP preliminary weekly employment report at 8:15. The actual official BLS data is at 8:30. But we have another one that comes out 15 minutes before the official BLS report at 8:15. It's called the ADP preliminary employment report. Gives you a weekly average on jobs, private payroll data. So usually it can be a little bit more accurate. I'm not saying it is, but it can be. And so I'm not misspeaking when I say 8:15. We have one at 8:15. We got another at 8:30. I'm getting impatient with gold all-time highs. All right, guys. I got a straddle for Oracle. Yeah, Oracle I'm curious about. It's had a big pullback. I'm in it right now. It's small. But I believe my average is pretty low, I think, at Oracle. You know, what's my average here? My average is 195s. So my average is like right here. I could always add to it. It's such a small position. I think I took profit on this already. Like, I think I went, like, it rebounded in my favor pretty quickly. I took half off, and now I'm sitting in a very small position. I could add some size right back here. You know what? Go ahead and do that. Platinum booming. Yeah, silver, gold, platinum, they're all up. Precious metals, they all move in unison a lot of the time. All right, guys, look at this big pullback here. Again, we're at the bottom of the range now. Here's the SPY. Slightly red on the day, slightly red. Here's the Dow, slightly red as well. They're close to the previous closing price though. There's that on the Dow. So a lot of stuff's really close to completely flat on the day. Most stocks are as well. Everything's almost trending towards the previous close. And again, I think that makes sense with the big reports we got today. With, you know, we got a couple different major reports today, so I think that makes sense. Yeah, my Oracle position is still, even with the addition I just did, it's very small, very small. You guys red or green so far this week? It is Tuesday. I think I lost money yesterday. I have to go back and check, but I think I lost money. I'm not going to buy 300 here again, although it's close. Again, here's the SPY. Nvidia green on the day, though. It's one of the tech stocks that are green. Red. Yeah, look at this dip. We broke under 300s. Look at this drop. Red. Yeah. Again, Bassett says the economy is going to start lifting off in the first and second quarter of next year. He said tax refunds could be $1,000 to $2,000 per household. He said we're going to see 100 billion to 150 billion tax refunds in the first quarter. Again, I think he's speaking of like Fox Business or something. All right, so we are now under this 25,300 level. I could short this, like a retest of 300. I don't think I'm going to, though. I don't know if there's enough room here. It's too small. Bitcoin got almost up to 87.5s right there. I'm looking at that level today for Bitcoin, 87.5. Bart, looks like Bart Simpson. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, Nvidia is pretty red on the week, I think, already, right? Yeah, Nvidia dropped a lot yesterday. Dropped a lot the day before. Or no, it dropped a lot Friday, I'm sorry. Dropped a lot Friday, dropped a lot yesterday. And so Nvidia dipped from 183s all the way down to 174. Big percentage. That's a large percentage. It's now back up a little bit, but it's still pretty weak looking. It's not necessarily strong. It's slightly green on the day, but again, the green it is on today is not huge, right? Like, this is the previous close right here. So it's not like a mountain of green for Nvidia today. It's just slightly green after a pretty weak 48-hour period of trading. Yeah, today we got NFP data. We also have ADP prelim NFP data at 8:15 market time. So we got some stuff coming out on both sides of that. We got ADP data. We got prelim NFP data 8:15. We have NFP data at 8:30. Retail sales at 8:30. And remember, the NFP report, I'm going to say it again, is they're putting out October data and November data today. So there's going to be a lot to go over. A lot to go over at 8:30. All the October data is coming out. It might not be the most accurate data for October specifically. November might be a little bit more accurate because we were open at least half of November. But we do have October and November data coming out today at 8:30. We have ADP data at 8:15. We got flash manufacturing and services PMI data at 9:45. So a lot of different things dropping. Yeah, a lot for the market to digest. Again, we got multiple job reports today. Nasdaq's still falling down here. Yeah, retail sales, again, expected at 0.1%. 0.1%. Non-farm payrolls today for November. Expected at only 40,000. Last time they should have been 119,000. Another big story is, are they going to revise the previous report? The 119,000 shocked a lot of people. It was much higher than a lot of people expected. Are they going to revise those numbers? Nasdaq falling down here. We got retail sales. Core retail sales expected at 0.2%. The ADP data drops in about 12 minutes, 13 minutes. October payroll data is, I don't even show an expectation here for October's data. Hold on, let me look. We're going to get October retail sales as well, apparently. We're getting October, hold on. Okay, yeah, this is the delayed retail sales report for October. Again, 0.3% is what they're expecting. No, I'm sorry, 0.1% expecting today. Unemployment rate expected at 4.5%. It's expected to jump up from 4.1%. And again, we're not going to get an October unemployment report, they said. Hasset says IPO to be done next year sometimes. Says China needs to increase domestic production. Says it's not possible for China to continue 1 trillion trade surplus. He would say we would like to see China rebalancing on trade. The economy is starting to lift off in the first and second quarter. It's to start lifting off in the first and second quarter. So far, China's done everything we negotiated. Databricks is raising over $4 billion at 134 billion valuation, according to the Wall Street Journal. I'm just catching up with the chat. Friday was a rough day, 100%, yeah. What's your number for NFP data here, guys? What's your number for NFP? I'm not talking ADP data. I think that's harder to predict. What's your number for NFP data? Again, today's NFP data for November is expected at 40,000. We don't even have an October gas here, but again, 40 to 55,000 is what I'm showing here. This is expected for payrolls. What's your number here, guys? I think we beat 46K, 15K. I don't hate the 15K number here. 30K. Yeah, I think the like anywhere between 20 and 40, I think makes sense. Yeah, well, it says 45 what for October, right? We're looking at November data. I mean, we got both data releases dropping at 8:30. And so again, 40K expected for November. For October, there's not even an expectation. Or no, there is. Okay. Hold on, let me look at this other source. Again, ADP data drops in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. All right, yeah, November's expected at 40K. October, I don't even see an expectation for October. October. Look at this drop here. Yeah, but November data is expected at 40K is what I'm showing. Nasdaq all the way down to 275. I almost want to buy this dip here though. Hold on, let me maybe buy this. I'm gonna buy this dip and I'm gonna try to cut out of this before ADP data. I kind of missed the 275 level here. Look at this level. So I kind of missed it. But maybe it'll still be all right. I add to this here, be greedy. The range is so small on the day. Again, Databricks is said to be raising over $4 billion at $134 billion valuation, according to WSJ. That 119 number will be revised lower. That's what I'm wondering about. Are they going to revise that 119 number? It seemed too high to me. Even Powell acknowledged that they might have overstated payroll data by about 60,000 is what he said. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a revision. I'm wondering if we're going to see a revision. Like a revision down to like 60, you know. Yeah, I think if I would have gotten in closer to 275, I'd like this trade a lot more. Because I kind of missed the 275 entry. I like the trade, but it's still a little bit too up there, I think. I mean, hopefully it continues to go green and runs higher. But yeah, I think a revision is probable. I think even Powell again acknowledged they might have overstated that payroll report, you know. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes left, roughly, give or take 6 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to cut at least half of this here and just wait. We already had a green day. It might bounce back. I think we're getting too close to the ADP data, to be honest. And so I'll just wait. If I would have called this level here originally, I think I would have taken profit already, but hindsight's 2020. Here's the 200 exponential right here. It's a little bit lower. I think we might bounce to 275 here still, but we're just getting too close to the economic report for me to take the risk. We'll see what yields do as well today. Gold has been elevated. Bitcoin's chopping a little bit more sideways. Yeah, again, like I said, I think we might bounce to 275, and it's looking like we might. But the risk, regardless of the potential reward, is just too much because ADP data coming out in 5 minutes exactly. What do you guys think ADP data is going to show? Again, ADP data coming out in 5 minutes exactly. 5 minutes exactly for ADP data. Yeah, I mean, 8:30 is going to be a larger release for sure. We'll have more people here at 8:30, you know, just because of how big of a report it is. But this one's not necessarily small either. I mean, it's relevant to look at. And a lot of the time, the ADP data is more accurate than the official data. ADP's, and it makes sense why, right? Like, ADP is a payroll processor. They have better data, you know, especially in the mix of the government shutdown. You know, they're the ones processing payrolls. They're a private company. And so, yeah, I mean, it makes sense why their data might be more accurate. We got 4 minutes left, guys. 4 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I don't own any stocks, but I'm still dumping. Also on Abercrombie and Fitch. We'll talk about it after this report. I'm going to cover this report real quick. Yeah, we're going to cover this report real quick. Again, the ADP employment change comes out. Last time was 4.75 thousand. We got about 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. Yeah, really, we got about 3.5 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. And again, if you put it in 2x speed on YouTube when you're watching it, you'll be caught up to the actual report. So put it in 2x speed, hit the live button next to the play button. We'll see if today's ADP report actually moves anything. All right, guys, two minutes left. Just about 2 minutes. Again, last time showed up at 4.75 thousand, 4.75K. NASDAQ is rolling over a little bit. SPY's pulling back. NVIDIA's dipping down here. Yeah, we got about two minutes left, give or take. 250 right here is the next level, but the 200 exponential right here, 265. So there's another level that's going to bounce it. Markets bounce a lot of the time at the 200 exponential on a shorter term chart. This data is what's called prelim NFP data, right? So at 8:30, we still get the NFP report today. At 8:15, we get what's called the weekly preliminary employment report at 8:15, right? This is from private payroll processor ADP, and they have better data than the government does sometimes. And so it's kind of it's historically looked at like a prelim NFP report, right? Like earlier numbers. A lot of the time it comes out on Wednesday, and then the actual NFP report comes out on Friday is the normal schedule. Which I don't know why they didn't do that this week, but for whatever reason we're getting the NFP report for last month on a Tuesday, which is fine, but it's a little bit abnormal. Which means today, look, and here's the 200 exponential. I'm telling you guys, we bounced there a lot. I'm gonna pause this. Look at this. 200 exponential. All right, here we go. Here we go. And here's the report in about 45 seconds. 45 seconds. 45 seconds. A little bit less than that, about 30 seconds now, actually. What's your last minute predictions? Good or bad ADP numbers? Let me know. Again, last time we showed up at 4.75K. 4.75K. Now, sometimes the ADP report is honestly a little delayed. It's supposed to drop in 15 seconds. We'll see what happens. 10 seconds. Let's see what we get. I'm going to put... Here's the SPY, and I'm going to put gold up. I want to see how these react to it. And here's the report right now. Looking for the ADP report. I don't see anything yet. They could be late. Nothing yet. Yeah, nothing yet on the side. And again, sometimes ADP is late, especially in the wake of today's report. Like here's the report. Nothing yet. Yeah, I'm not showing it yet. Nothing yet here. Supposed to drop at 8:15. I don't see it. Okay, 16.25 thousand. 16.25K is what it showed up as. 16.25 thousand for ADP. So a little bit stronger than expected. So an average weekly gain of 16.25 thousand is what just showed up here. Again, 16.25 thousand. Previous was 4.75. 16.25K. Didn't really move markets. The big report's at 8:30 here, guys. So we got the larger prelim, or we got the larger payroll report at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time today. I mean, this is private payroll data. So the big one drops again. I'll put a timer up for the big one. The big one really drops in the big one really drops when in 13 minutes. Yeah. This is when the big one comes out, 13 minutes. But again, ADP report did show strength versus the previous data at 4.75K previously. It showed 16.25 thousand. And again, I'll put this data up here. They titled it, "Money Isn't Everything. We found another powerful currency for incentive workers. Principal in a test." Wait. Where's the numbers, bro? Did they really? Hold on, wait. Who wrote this? Where's the numbers at, dude? I don't see the numbers anywhere. Like, I see the report. Very strange. They wrote this and they didn't put the report up, the data up. Very strange here. This quarter increase represents year-over-year bonus growth 3.6%. Okay, yeah, okay. 4 weeks ending November 29th, average 6,250 jobs a week. It continued strength during the second half of November. They put the numbers at the very end of it. Like, look at this. I'm reading all this. I'm like, dude, I don't want to read an article right now. Where's the numbers? Numbers are all the way down here. It took them this long to release the numbers. Why would they do this? Anyways, we got 11 minutes left, chat. 11 minutes. $16.25 thousand weekly job gains is what this number means. It's average weekly numbers. All right, guys, we got, again, today we got payroll numbers. You talk about numbers, but do you know what it means? What's a number, bro? I don't even know what a number is, dude. All right, guys, listen, we got 11 minutes left. 11 minutes before payroll. Again, I think higher numbers might make people nervous because it means less rate cuts. I think lower numbers might make people nervous because it means weaker labor, right? So stagflationary environment is what a lot of people are going to argue with high inflation data and weak labor data. We'll see what happens. Again, today we get the October and the November payroll reports. October and November NFP reports. Let's see what we get. What's a job right now? I don't even know what a job is. Yeah, what's a job right now, guys? We got 10 minutes left. 10 minutes before the big payroll report. Again, we got an AI sell-off. NFP data at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hasset says U.S. is going to see tax refunds up to $150 billion in Q1. Nasdaq's bouncing right there at around the 200 exponential. ADP said we continued strengthening during the second half of November, signals a potential rebound in hiring. Most popular job. It's all been made up monopoly money. Do you think Bitcoin will hit 100,000 today? I mean, the question is, what kind of jobs numbers would make Bitcoin rebound here, right? You could say stronger jobs numbers. I disagree. I think really weak labor data might make Bitcoin go up. Why? Because it means more potential easing into next year. And Bitcoin wants easing, you know? I'm not 100% sure, though. I think we could be in a good as bad and bad as bad scenario, or a good as good and a bad as good scenario. I'm really not sure. I think The market has shown differing things here for this type of stuff. So and again, a lot of this data, we're going to get October data for payrolls. October data is not going to be super accurate, they think. Powell also said he thinks that the official government BLS data overstated last time by about 60,000. And again, it showed up at 119,000 for NFP data, non-farm payroll data. So we'll see what happens here, chat. We'll see what happens. Again, a lot of people are going to argue we're in a situation where we have weak labor and high inflation. And again, Thursday we get the inflation report from CPI data for November. So Thursday we get really important data as well here. We will see what we get heading into this. But this is a big report. We will see what we get. Again, we have 7 minutes left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed here. We're going to get October data, November data. We're not going to get October unemployment, but we're going to get October NFP data, November NFP data, and more today. Retail sales data for, what is it, September, October? Yeah, we get September data as well here. We get housing starts, building permits, retail sales, non-farm payrolls, unemployment data, and more today, guys. So just be ready. Again, unemployment expected to uptick to 4.5% is what I'm showing. ADP data did show some strength here, though. Private payrolls expected at 20,000. Yeah, guys, we got 7 minutes left. 7 minutes. Yeah, I mean, ADP data generally is going to be... It makes sense why they're more accurate sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, because they're a payroll processor. So they have that data, even when the government's shut down, which, you know... Yeah, only 50,000 jobs. I'm showing 40,000 for November. Or I'm showing 55,000 for October and 25,000 for November. Again, retail sales expected about 0.1% for October. All right, here we go. I'm going to put some of this data up on the bottom of the screen here, just because it's about to come out. So, again, November NFP data expected at 40,000. November unemployment expected at 4.5%. Retail sales for October expected at there's core retail sales. Yeah, retail sales expected at 0.1%. 8:30. Nasdaq is ripping higher here, though, ahead of this report here. We got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. Nasdaq is creeping up. Will we get a Santa rally? Give me your last minute expectations here, chat. We got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. Again, we got NFP data going live in about 4.5 minutes. What do we get today, man? Leaked? Nah, it's usually almost never leaked. I mean, there's always rumors that it's leaked. It's almost never leaked. Now, you're going to hear people be like, oh, it's leaked. But they're usually just trying to influence your positions. Oracle did rip up after I bought that dip, so that's nice. Nasdaq pushing higher here. Gold pushing higher. Nvidia pushing higher. Nvidia up to 177s. Right now, Bitcoin back up to that 87.5s here, and we got 4 minutes left, chat. 4 minutes. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff, to be honest, today. A lot of stuff. 3.5 minutes left. Again, hit the live button, put it in 2x speed. If you haven't already, we appreciate it. All right, guys, we're dipping down to 25 threes. Let's see if we bounce. Bitcoin rejected at 87 5s. Again, non-farm payrolls, unemployment data. I misspelled sales here. Let me put this back up. There we go. Nasdaq dipped back down. Again, ADP's prelim report showed 16.25 thousand jobs. 16.25 thousand jobs. We got 3 minutes left. Bullish or bearish on this report here, chat? Bullish or bearish? 53% think we're going to show weakness in the labor market. 47% think strength. The question is, what is strength in this labor report? 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes. That's the question. Again, we got a big NFP report, labor report today. Let's see what we get here. You guys ready? Again, about 2 minutes, a little bit over 2 minutes left. We got core retail sales, non-farm payrolls, unemployment. October data too. The question is, do we see revisions in last time's data? Do we see revisions in data? That's the question today. Do we see big revisions in the last report that showed 119,000? Even Powell acknowledged that they might have overstated it by 60,000 jobs. They might have overstated it by 60K. Hey, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Again, a minute and a half left. There's not always revisions, but I think it's more likely that we might see a revision this time. We might not, though. We might not. The question is, will lower jobs make the market go up or down? Is the question. We got 1 minute, 10 seconds left. 1 minute, 10 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. If you haven't already, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. They're expecting about 40,000 payrolls today for November. 40,000 payrolls. We'll see what October shows. We got less than a minute here now. Less than a minute, guys. Again, hit the notification bell. Hit the subscribe button. We got 45 seconds left. 45 seconds. It's time. Time here, chat. See what we get today. I'm ready. See what we get, though. Here we go. 45 seconds. 45 seconds. All right, guys, 10 seconds. A little bit over 10 seconds. About 13 seconds, 12 seconds left. Timer's a little bit early. 7 seconds. All right, here we go. And here's the report right now. The Nasdaq just dumped on this report. Retail sales showed 0%. Non-farm payroll, 64,000. 64,000 versus 40,000 expected. Again, 64,000 versus 40,000 expected. Retail sales 0.8%, or no, retail sales 0%. Unemployment at 4.6% higher than expected. Look at that candle. That was weird. Again, 64,000 non-farm payrolls for November. 64,000 non-farm payrolls for November. Unemployment at 4.6%. Again, 4.6%. 64K non-farm payrolls at, unemployment at 4.6% today. 4.6%. Noticeably higher payrolls than expected. Unemployment did uptick to 4.6% here, though. Unemployment did uptick to 4.6%. We have core retail sales showed up at 0.4%. 0.4%. Again, 64,000 for non-farm payrolls for November versus 40,000 expected. 64,000 versus 40,000 expected. Here's the actual report. Total non-farm payrolls changed little in November. 64K has shown little net change since April. The US BLS in November, the unemployment rate at 4.6%. Little change from September. Unemployment rose in healthcare and construction. And so again, the 4.6% unemployment rate is going to scare people a little bit, I think. Again, 4.6%. Government payrolls, negative 5,000. Labor force participation was 62.5%. Manufacturing payrolls for November were negative 5,000. Again, U6 unemployment at 8.7%. Previously was 8%. Private payrolls for November showed up at 69,000 versus 45,000 expected. Again, non-farm payrolls for October showed just 105 negative. Negative 105 for October, 64,000 in November. Again, 4.6% unemployment. New York Fed Services Activity Index showed up at negative 20. U6 unemployment rate, again, 8.7 versus 8%. Let me put some of this data up. But again, non-farm payroll showed up at 64,000 versus 50,000 expected. 64K versus 50K expected here. This is the numbers right here in chat. All right, there's the non-farm payroll report. The unemployment report's the other big one. Again, it showed up at 4.6%, higher than expected at 4.6%. So payrolls slightly stronger than expected. Unemployment rate upticked. October non-farm payroll showed up at negative 105,000. Wait, is this negative 105? Hold on, let me see. Or 105,000. Yeah, there's the scrollers at the bottom of the screen. All right, bro, I love you, dude. Have a good day, man. Good luck. I love you. Have a good day. Good luck, guys. All right, you got this, buddy. You got this, man. Love you, bud. Have a good day, dude. All right, guys. NASDAQ is reacting really well to this report, really well. Retail sales was positive 0.8% versus, I'm pretty sure it was positive 0.8%. Let me look. Again, we had so many data releases. Retail sales data showed up at 0%. I'm sorry, 0% for retail sales month over month for October versus 0.1%. So it was flat. U6 unemployment, which is generally much higher than the normal unemployment rate, showed up at 8.7. But again, the unemployment rate showed up at 4.6%. 4.6%. Man, did anybody see this, though? I'm assuming the market reacted like this to the October data. Right, so I'm assuming the October data came out negative 105,000. They expected negative 25,000. 4x higher than expected here. And then the actual payroll report showed up here. So the actual November report showed up there is what I think. That's what I think happened here. I'm not 100% sure. Again, average hourly earnings for November showed up at 0.1%. For retail sales, 0.4%. Government payrolls for November, negative 5,000. Manufacturing payrolls for November, negative 5,000. Non-farm payrolls, 64,000 versus 40,000 expected. Again, retail sales 0% for month of October. Unemployment rate uptick to 4.6% here. 4.6%. So interesting. Negative 105,000 for October. Again, though, the October data might not be the most accurate, is what you got to understand about this stuff. So again, the October data might not be super accurate. It might be accurate. It might not be as well. We really don't know. And so the October data, you know, that's going to be the least accurate. Why? Because the government was shut down the entire month of October. Also, Bitcoin's now pulling back here. It's back down to 86.8 now, 86.8. It rejected 87.5. Okay, maybe the sweep didn't happen here. This was just on a different chart. Weird. But yeah, retail sales 0%. Non-farm payrolls for October negative 105,000. They expected negative 25K. Private payrolls for November was much stronger than expected at 69 versus 45. Unemployment 4.6%. I think the unemployment rate's the scary one, but we'll see. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move. Again, stick around. We still have more data coming out today. We're going to trade the opening bell live deep into the open and then cover the data that comes out after the bell today. Stick around, but interesting nonetheless here. Yeah, payrolls went up by 64,000 versus 40,000 expected, 50,000 expected, 64K versus 40 to 50K expected. Again, October payrolls showed negative 105,000. Look at this 325 level. Let's see if we bounce here. A little bit close to data. All right, we'll buy it. We'll add to it, I think, as well here. Dude, look at this level here, too. Even if we don't stop here, these levels that I'm using work, man. Even if we reject here, which I hope we don't, I hope we continue pushing higher. But even if we just make a pit stop at the level, there's opportunity here. I'm going to add into this retracement, see if we bounce back up. Give it a second. All right, guys. But yeah, payroll 64,000 versus 40 to 50K expected here. Payroll 64K. Do you guys think this is a good or bad payroll labor report? Because it wasn't just payrolls. We got unemployment, which was 4.6%. You guys think this is a good or bad labor report here? Good or bad labor report? Put good or bad in chat right now. Horrible. Good. The subjective nature of labor reports. Some people think it's great. Some people think it's terrible. Explain if you think it's good or bad. Explain why. Bad. Great. Too good, actually. It's more bad than it is good. Yeah, again, if you want rate cuts, it might not be the best thing. There we go. I'm going to cut half of this off. I'm going to take another little piece off here. Economy is weak. Yeah, I mean, look, 64,000 jobs is not the strongest. But it's better than some of the other ones we've seen, especially the private data, to be honest. 64,000, not the strongest report. It is better than some of the other data we've seen here. I got to look for it. This is a green trade, but I got to be careful here. And hope we get a bounce back at 64K. There we go. Ugh, dude, after today, my son's finals are going to be over. My son's just like I am, dude. It's unfortunate. And fortunate. All right, we cut this. I think we made money on the trade overall, though. It's okay for flying blind for a month. Yeah, I mean, again, I would assume they revised it. And they did revise the last one to 108,000. So they revised the last one down. They did revise the last one down. Last one was at 119,000. They revised it down to 108K. 108K is what they did for October or for September's report. So they did revise the last one down, not by much though. Look at this drop showing up in markets here. Wow. Yeah, unemployment rate rose from 4.4 to 4.6%, worse than expected, according to a lot of people here. That's the only scary thing that makes me nervous. And again, if we take a look at how yields reacted to this, you can kind of see if we reacted well or not to this report. Yields are up a little bit, but they're mostly flat here. So again, we are at 4.7% right now, 4.7%. Yields are a little bit higher. Again, yields are a little bit higher. Let's see if they hold. So a little bit more strength in labor at 64,000 than expected. Last time was 119 though. 64K is not necessarily good here either. Yeah. Look at the bounce here, 200 exponential again. Yeah, my son's like me. When I was young, dude, it was, if I'm not interested in something, it's basically, it's super difficult to get me to pay attention. Again, 64,000 payroll data. Stagflation is a big danger now. Silver spot. Where did gold go from this report? Nvidia is net negative from this report. Gold is net positive. Actually, let me see. Gold. Yeah, gold is net positive from this report. Nasdaq's almost completely in the middle here, kind of completely sideways. Again, see if we hold now. Yields and interest rates generally follow each other. So yields and interest rates can follow each other, right? So if yields go up, interest rate sentiment is higher. If yields go down, interest rate sentiment is generally lower. Now, this is in general. This is always, it can always fluctuate, you know, yields especially. But generally, higher yields, 10-year treasury yields, that is, means higher interest rate sentiment. If we take a look at rate cut odds, I'm sure they're pretty much unchanged here because yields didn't move much either. But just to put it into perspective, that's the reason we watch yields. It's also supply and demand plays a big factor. So the odds of a January rate cut actually went up. This was at 24%. It's now at 27% average. So this is now at 27% here. So the odds of a rate cut upticked slightly from this report. Slightly from this report. Odds of rate cuts went up slightly from this report, not decreased. This is for January rate cut. And I think the January report is, the January rate decision is going to rely more on the December data that we get in January 9th. Why is gold going up? Stagflation fears, maybe unemployment upticking. You know. Gold's very close to all-time highs as well, so I do kind of, I might look to buy gold and trade a little bit of it today. But still, we will see how we do today there. Oh, yeah. Okay, we had a big labor report today. We still got 45 minutes in the opening bell, and then we also have more data coming out later as well. We have flash services and manufacturing PMI at 945. Again, retail sales did show up at 0%. The delayed report from October at 0%. They expected 0.1%. So a little bit weaker retail sales, a little bit higher unemployment. I mean, honestly, it was much higher. They expected 4.5. Previously, it was 4.4. We showed up at 4.6% for unemployment rate. A rate cut is not happening in January. We already know that. No, I think it's too early to tell. You might be right, and I think you're probably right, especially if you look at the odds right now. It's about 75-25 for a pause. But, I mean, look, if we get a bunch of weak reports, if we get low inflation data on Thursday, CPI inflation comes out Thursday Eastern Standard Time at 8:30. If we get low inflation data on Thursday, and then in January we get really weak labor and weak inflation data, then we could cut. We could cut 25 basis points. I don't know if we will. There's still a chance we don't, even if all that stuff, you know, even if we have the Goldilocks situation, there's still a chance that we don't cut rates. So I would say you're probably right, but nothing's absolute in markets. There's a Star Wars joke I can make there, but nothing is absolute in markets here. Things can be pretty freaking probable, though. Yeah, it's a heavy news day for sure. All right, NASDAQ down to 275 here. Again, we're honestly completely flat. We're flatter than I thought I would be from this labor report. Yeah, we're much more flat from this labor report than I expected here. I expected a little bit more volatility. Yeah, BLS says can't quantify shutdown impact on October and November payrolls. It says manufacturing payrolls are now at their lowest level since March of 2022. Again, they can't quantify shutdown impact of November and October payrolls. Again, the unemployment rate upticked to 4.6%. Rate futures still see 2 cuts next year after jobs retail sales data. 58 basis points average of easing next year is what people think. I think priority is the state of economy. Rate cut is secondary. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Inflation's been trending up. Sure, yeah, I mean, it's definitely up from earlier in the year. Yeah, we did 40 billion repo markets. So I think it's reasonable to expect we might see some upticks in inflation. I'm not saying we're going to have low inflation on Thursday. We're going to be here to cover it, though, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, what's the expectation for Thursday here? So the expectation for Thursday, let me pull this up. Expectation for Thursday. I don't even show an expectation here. Hold on. I think it's like 3.1% if I remember correctly. I think the expectation for Thursday is right around 3.1%. If I remember correctly, it's at like 3.1. I don't know what CPI is going to come in. I'll give you a guess a little bit later on. I'm not even going to say it's a prediction. I'll give you a guess. All right, guys. We bounced at 275. Let's see if we continue back higher here. Yeah, it's 3.1%. Sorry, I forgot to put it in live chat. Market will look for any and every reason to dump. I don't know, man. I think we're kind of in the middle somewhere. Yeah, I think we're somewhere in the middle. I don't know where we are, but I think we're somewhere in the middle right now. Always hate rollover week. Volume is always split. Yeah, it's rollover week right now. It might influence futures. I'm looking at gold, though. I mean, look, Bitcoin's still coming down. We're at 86.78 right now. 86.78. Stuck in the middle with you. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. I want to buy it because we have this 275 level, but I also don't trust it at all. And we are really close to just having economic data. I'll buy a little dip here, I guess, but I don't trust it at all. For the stream, we'll do it. I'm going to take 3 contracts tops. There we go. Cut a piece of this off. Cut another piece off up here. And then we'll try to hold on to the rest. But you guys know me, I'm a huge wimp to trading right now. The range is so big, though, we can maybe add a little bit here. There we go. We got a pullback. We're right around the 200 exponential. I'm just worried it's going to crack underneath it for a second. If it continues pushing, but there we go. We're green. I'm gonna take another piece off here. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty defensive. And like, look, we just had data, so and the market's chopping back and forth. We're green on the day now. We're green on this trade. It's not gonna be red no matter what. I am gonna cut it right there though. So yeah, we made money on that trade for sure. And then I'm going to wait. Gold pushing back to green on the day, technically. Gold at 43.35s here. Your trading cracks me up. Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm going to hold on to this for 3 years. 10 seconds later, I'm selling. You know. But I'm kind of just scalping this movement here. We're right around the 200 EMA. My stats are good, though. Honestly, my stats are pretty freaking good. November was just the greatest month ever, though. I think it was November. What did I do last week? I think I had a red week and a lot of stuff. Mostly a flat week. I had some red days, green days. Yeah, gold goes up on fear. I think there's a lot of fear right now. Again, if we take a look at the odds, honestly, if you look at it, though, a lot of the time we do bounce where I think we will. If we look at the odds for rates right now, again, yields are even like, here's yields right now. Yields don't know where to go either. Rate cut odds here, if we take a look at them, they're like 26%, roughly, give or take 26%. Odds of a 25 basis point cut. So now we're dipping here. Let's see if 250 holds us. Again, SPY coming back down red on the day. There's a lot of disclaimers on this labor report too. Healthcare added 46,000 jobs in line with average monthly gain of 39,000 over the past 12 months. Yeah, shout out from East Texas as well, Trevor. I'm in East Texas. Houston specifically. Oil, how's the oil reacting to this? Oil's down already. It's even down more. It's down to 55.60s this morning. Nasdaq's starting to break weak here on this report. Again, starting to look weak. Are you guys bullish or bearish for the rest of the day? Let me end this poll here. We did this poll. We got a decent amount of votes here. Do another one. With today's labor reports, are you bullish or bearish for the rest of the day? All right, vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys are thinking here today. Again, silver still red on the day. Was at 64s when it closed yesterday. Nvidia still technically green, but less green. Yeah, I think there's a couple weak signs in the labor report. I would say October data showed negative 105,000 jobs for October. Now, the government was shut down the entire month of October, and so that's not the most shocking thing, but it's still weak, obviously. Negative 100,000+ jobs for a month is not good. It's not good. The second biggest weakness data in this report was unemployment. Previously, it was 4.4%. It upticked to 4.6%. They expected 4.5%, so it was higher than expected and higher than previously looked at. For unemployment data. Again, the unemployment rate, 4.6% for November, high. Now, again, shutdown influencing that, I'm sure. Looking at the poll so far, we got about 134 votes, 140 votes. 61% are bearish for the rest of the day. 39% are bullish, around 60-40 now. All right, guys. Ooh. Rebounding back up to the 200 exponential, which is right here at 275. Nvidia bouncing at the 200 exponential at about 176.40. Gold still technically green on the day here. Hold on. I got too many windows up. Again, BLS says they cannot quantify the shutdown impact of October-November payrolls. Remember, we have flash services and manufacturing data at 9:45 today as well. It bounced a little bit to 474. Look, there's the 200 exponential. Does reject it here. Lots of data for the market to digest. Broadcom and Oracle gave up the Santa rally. Yeah, like I bought the dip at Oracle today. It worked out really well until payrolls came out. But I'm still actually green on the day now for Oracle, so that's good. Primarily due to AI. Yields will go up because of the Japanese rate hike. Yeah, we got the Japanese rate decision. So again, Friday, December 19th, we got the Japanese rate decision. It's going to be basically like Thursday night, though. Yeah, so again, the Japanese rate decision is going to be in the middle of the night, basically Thursday night, Friday morning. We're still looking weak here. Look at Bitcoin fall here. Bitcoin down to 86.5s right now. Probably on stronger payroll data than expected, showing less need to ease, and that's negatively impacting Bitcoin here. Okay, so actually, no, I'm sorry. It's going to be 9:30 to 11 o'clock p.m. Central. So Eastern time is going to be... Wait. Now I got my time all whacked. Yeah, so Eastern time is going to be... 10:30 to 12 midnight on Thursday night, basically December 18th. Press conference is going to be about 1:30 Eastern on Friday in the morning. So yeah, middle of the night. All right, guys, we're heading into the open. No, we got October data. October data showed negative 105,000 payrolls for October, Nick. Again, negative 105,000 for October payrolls. What it showed. So again, negative 105K payroll data. We got 30 minutes into the open. We're gonna day trade as well today. And again, we also have manufacturing and services data going live. Yeah, all good. Yeah, if you want to check out Top Step, they're a sponsor of mine. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. And so a great way to learn. I'll put the link up if you haven't already. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. They recently reduced activation fees and more. And so again, if you want to check out Top Step, great way to learn. Most day traders lose. And so I'll put the link up here, pin it to the top of the chat. Yeah, I took 2 payouts last week. This week, I might take another one. It just depends on if I can. I'd like to build up a little bit more profit in one of my accounts here. Look at the NASDAQ fall here. So NASDAQ's breaking down. Bitcoin's breaking down. Let's see if we continue. All right, so we are getting some breakdowns. I'm going to switch to the right account. This is the other account that I want to try to build up a cushion on here. You think it's going to be Black Friday? I don't know, man. Maybe. We'll see. Again, if the Japanese rate decision is much more hawkish. But I think people are already baked into a hawkish Bank of Japan, no? I think it's already pretty likely they're going to raise rates, right? And so that outcome is already kind of baked in. What do you think is going to happen on Friday to make markets crash? Yeah, the Dixie, I mean, Dixie's kind of flat since the open of at 8:15 market time. I understand the carry trade dynamic, but don't you think that's already baked in there? I mean, it's already pretty probable we're going to raise rates. The Bank of Japan is going to raise rates. Look at gold, guys. Look at gold. Gold's getting very close to all-time highs today. It's very probable the Bank of Japan is going to raise rates. This is already baked in, I think, to the market. I mean, maybe we'll see some big, brutal reaction, but I think, you know, the odds right now of a Bank of Japan rate hike are 90 to 98%. And so, you don't think the carry dynamic is already baked in? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, looking at outlook for rates obviously could move things. We'll see. We'll see Friday. Again, Thursday we got CPI inflation data as well ahead of it. So ahead of the Bank of Japan rate decision, we've got CPI inflation data on Thursday, jobless claims, unemployment on Thursday, another labor report. So the news was mixed. Unemployment upticked to 4.6%, although the government was shut down. So that's not a shocking thing here for unemployment data. Jobless claims, or no, I'm sorry, non-farm payrolls showed 64,000. They expected about 40, so stronger non-farm payrolls than expected, but higher unemployment than expected as well. All right, that's essentially what happened. Retail sales were a little bit weaker than expected, but again, I think the context of the shutdown makes a lot of this data make sense. Private payroll showed 69,000 versus 45K expected. Again, non-farm payroll showed 64. Manufacturing was weak, negative 5K. Unemployment uptick to 4.6% for November. So, yeah, just too controversial, Sean. Sorry, bro. Yeah, looking at our poll numbers, we asked people, are you bullish or bearish on the day? 43% are bullish, 57% are bearish. Again, 43 bullish, 57% bearish. NASDAQ did bounce at 229 right here. Look at this. So kind of a big range, but sideways price action right now. I mean, it definitely looks weaker here. We're trending towards the lower end of the range, but I'm curious to see what the opening bell brings. A lot of the time at the opening bell, Look, we did have this Nvidia news that just came out. Maybe this is helping markets. Yeah, so Fortinet delivers isolated infrastructure acceleration for the AI factory with Nvidia. And retail sales showed up at 0%. Core showed up at 0.4 versus 0.2. Again, so I'm looking at this report. It says Americans have been grumbling about frustrating job searches, and the trend worsened more in November per the Labor Department's labor report. In November, 24.3% of the unemployed had been hunting for a job for at least 6 months, up from 23.6% in September. In November 2024, the figure was at 23.1%. 23.1%. Again, October showed negative 105,000 payroll numbers. Private payrolls showed 52,000 for October. Manufacturing showed negative 9,000 for October. Negative government payroll showed negative 162,000. Those are mostly shutdown related stats, though. We're rejecting at 275 right here. If we hold. The Nvidia news is that Fortinet, which is FT&T symbol, delivered isolated infrastructure acceleration for the AI factory with Nvidia. White House's Yared says wages are going up. People are making people re-enter labor force. Rising jobless rate is statistically insignificant. Will we get a Santa rally right now, guys? I don't know. We got the opening bell in 20 minutes. Will we get a Santa rally? We'll see. Yeah, a lot of the time of Santa rally is from the day after the Christmas holiday, so December 26th, all the way through January 2nd of the next year, right? That's a lot of the time when we see big moves on the upside. So the point is, we still got some time until the till the historical Santa rally dates are here, right? So it's still a little early. It's still a little early. We have about 10 days left until that historical period of time too. No Santa rally. Yeah, the options expiry on Friday. Santa rally, yes or no? Put yes or no in chat right now. Let me know. I'm curious. Gold. Chat, it is moving up a little bit here. Again, where did we reject here, guys? I'm going to be a broken record with this, but if it helps you, it helps you. 200 exponential. No, yes, no. Do we get a Santa rally this year? Thank you, Coastal. Yes, no. No Santa, only coal. Yeah, big time. We're so split down the middle in terms of what people want. No. Stagflation, no rally. JP Morgan, no. Oh, wait, is the end of this week? Oh, yeah, wait. Is it quad wishing? Hold on, let me see. We do have quad wishing. I didn't even know it was quad wishing on Friday. I'm out the loop with quad witching day. Triple witching, technically. Again, if you don't know what quad witching or triple witching is, it's technically triple. Is that quad meant all 4 major contract types expire the same day, right? And this included index options, so like S&P options, index futures, like E-mini futures, NASDAQ futures, single stock options, like Apple options, Amazon options. And then we used to have something called single stock futures, where you could trade futures of like Apple and Amazon. I wish they still did. That would be great. Honestly, I wish they still did. But when we had them, it was called quad witching because all 4 major contract types expired same day, right? But we no longer have single stock futures, and so it's really triple witching, which is single stock options, index futures, and index options. Those 3 expire Friday. And so that is a historical day of volatility where we could have some big movements up and down. Again, we got the opening bell in 18 minutes here, chat. 18 minutes. Let's see what we get. We are going to be day trading live at the opening bell. Are they really, Pawn? The Pawn sent me something that said single stock futures are making a return to the U.S. market with the CME Group planning to launch in 2025. Okay, so we are past that. I'm not super optimistic. I hope they do. I would love to trade Apple or Amazon futures. I would love to do it. I don't think they're definitely late. We got that news a year ago that the CME is planning to launch single stock futures, Mag 7 names initially. We got it December 12th, 2024. Again, I'm not optimistic. I hope they do it though. Will they do it? Guys, will we get single stock futures? I would love it if they did. Yeah, again, they recently changed the rules to 24-hour trading. I'm kind of against this move though. It's kind of already here, but I like the opening bell. I like the opening bell. Yeah. Again, we'll see. We'll see. I hope they bring him back, man. Yeah. It'll be fun. Bring him back. All right, guys. So again, we got the dollar index, we got gold up, we got Nvidia up. Anything else you guys want me to look at ahead of the opening bell? We got about 15 minutes left until the opening bell. Anything you guys want me to still look at here? Again, the White House economic advisor Hasset on the Fed says he's right. Plenty of room to lower rates. Oh, he wants that Fed job. Hasset on the president says the president thinks interest rates could be lower and that he's right. Plenty of room to lower rates. Says private sector jobs are on a solid upward trajectory. He said the president thinks interest rates could be lower. He said see solid upward trajectory. Yeah, we saw that already. Private sector job growth was in line with upward trajectory, says the president is right regarding plenty of room to lower rates. Says on jobs data, see solid upward trajectory via CNBC. So Hasset was looking like the guy to be the Fed chairman. Now it's looking like Warsh. The odds of Warsh being the Fed chairman are a little bit higher than Hasset right now, but they're pretty much split down the middle. And then earlier this morning, they did say that they're going to do a couple interviews this week, you know, interviewing potential Fed chairman. Hate that markets are open after 4 now. I mean, they vote. I mean, kind of. Warsh. NASDAQ back up here. Fighting higher over the 200 exponential. Gold, guys, getting really close to this all-time high. Again, all-time highs in gold are 43.98. We're at 43.55 right now. Here's the all-time high in gold futures, 43.98. We're getting very close to that ahead of the opening bell here with just 14 minutes left. But I mean, I don't like after-hour trading because it makes these massive moves on low volume and the spreads are massive. You need a break from market sometimes. Yeah, but I mean, I think, you know, you got to understand the logic of it, which is that earnings come out in after hours, right? And they don't want to do it during market hours because then you could have just really crazy moves. And so they do it in pre-market when liquidity is lower. They do it in after hours when liquidity is lower. Same thing with economic reports, right? Like the labor report we get at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, a full hour before the market opens, generally. Now, we still get some reports at 9:45 and 10 a.m., but they're usually less big reports. So... look at this scammer email I just received. I don't even know if I want to click it. I'm not going to read the rest. It says, "Attention to you, my dear friend. This is Mr. Michael Harris from the FBI office. I'm here to remind you concerning your package, which we have been retrieved." I'm not even going to read the rest. All right. The grammar's off. The spelling is off. Capitalization is off. This is probably written somewhere overseas. Definitely not the FBI. Definitely not. I would tell them to do better, but honestly, don't do better. Make it as obvious as possible that you're a scammer. I think that's the right move. All right, guys. Listen, we got 12 minutes until the opening bell. 12 minutes. All right, guys. Hasset on the Fed says that the president has a good reason, and I agree. I will present to others. White House has backup plans if tariffs are struck down. On the deficit, he says reduction is key. He says lots of room for lower rates with positive supply shock. I think we can reach 3% growth in the Fed, 1% inflation again. Would have to see what kind of consensus could be reached. If I were there, I'd have to negotiate with the rest of the committee. Do you guys agree with Hasset here? Still speaking, we need a consensus based on facts and data. If the president has a good reason and I agree, I will present to others. Independence is really important. White House has, again, backup plans if tariffs are struck down. Yeah, flash PMI 9:45 market time. We'll see if that data moves anything here with the flash data. I don't know. Maybe it does. They write it like that so that only those that will fall into the trap respond initially. What, you mean like, I'm not going to say, let me think of a nice way to put this. People that don't have the best analytical skills are the ones that fall for that stuff. Because anybody with any type of reasonable analytical skills, I mean, this is coming from me, top 3 greatest analytical skills traders in the world right now. Top 3 for sure. Don't have, basically, I can't really think of a nice way to put this. So I'm just not going to say anything. All right, guys, we got 9 minutes left. 9 minutes. I feel like I just sounded like the president just now talking about analytical skills. You know, my analytical skills are fabulous. I walk into the room, I make data points. People say, "Wow, would you look at that? And would you look at those analytical skills?" I would never click on that email link. You know? All right, guys, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Yeah, AI is going to make it really difficult. Honestly, whoever wrote that email should have used AI, you know? Gold, guys, still pushing up. 60s now, 60s. We're really only about $38 away from all-time highs in gold futures. Gold's pushing this morning. Yeah, I mean, what I was trying to say is it's not the smartest people that click on those links and believe those links, right? That's all I'm trying to say. I couldn't think of a nice way to put it. But all right, we're back up over 280s. Yeah, oil's down so much. I almost want to buy oil down here. It's so difficult to predict where oil's going. Again, look at gold though, man. Gold is the big winner from this payroll report. The Nasdaq is basically flat. The data showed up right here, and the Nasdaq is right here. So we're down slightly from this report, but not much at all. Gold, on the other hand, has flown higher here at 43.61s right now for gold. 43.61s. The gold's the bigger winner from this report. Yeah, the unemployment numbers upticked. I think it makes sense with the shutdown, though. Even if we're looking at November data for unemployment, the government was shut down for half the month in November. So I think it's not the worst it could be at 4.6%, but it's definitely upticking. You know, it was 4.4% previously. They expected 4.5%, so it's higher than expected and higher than previously for the unemployment rate. I think that's bad. If we take a look at rate odds to see if they've moved a little bit here, let's check. Again, here's the rate odds. Yeah, this has gone back down some. So really, we're about 25 to 75 right now. 75% chance of a pause next month in January. 25% chance of a cut. Yields have increased as well on this hawkish scenario. It was at 4.7% today, this morning. It's at 4.19%, and it is elevated on the day as well here. So yields are higher. Rate cut odds have decreased a little bit from the last time we looked at them. Yesterday it was 20... It was right about where we are now. But this morning when I looked at it, it was 27% odds of a rate cut. That's decreased to about 24.5%, 25% right now. Again, remember, we got flash services and manufacturing data going live after the opening bell as well. So again, remember, we got flash services and manufacturing data going live at the open, after the open. Four minutes left. Yeah, the VIX, I mean, the VIX is gonna look at Nvidia fall real quick ahead of the opening bell. The VIX is up on the day, but that's just because we dropped so much yesterday and the day before. So the VIX is gonna be elevated over the last few days, just because of the VIX goes up when the market goes down. Nvidia, again, look at Nvidia trying to go red on the day. 176.29 is the red level. All right, guys, here we go. Nasdaq falling down, Nvidia falling down. Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning. Again, Hasset's been speaking most of this morning. Hasset said we're catching up fast on energy generation. We have the best chips, plan to deregulate. Don't think we're falling behind China. On jobs and AI, he said GDP income and demand should go up. I'm seeing AI trained workers have increased their productivity and wages. I think productivity growth is 2.5 to 3% because of AI. Looking at supply side, need to have north of 4% on GDP growth. Everyone should expect a hiring bounce from the shutdown. The government shutdown led people to hold off on hiring. Bullish in 2026 on jobs data. He said have to drive interest rate movement with consensus. Need consensus based on facts, not data. Independence is really important. Yeah, we still got the Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing and services flash data here. So we do have flash data for manufacturing and services coming out. Again, this is for December. So Nasdaq coming all the way back down to this 229 level. I don't know why this is a level on my chart, but I had this 229 level way before any of this, right? So even before these three tests of this level, it was on the chart. I don't know why it was on the chart, though. I have to go back and look at why I documented that data. I think it was a previous top up here. And then if you keep going back, it was a bottom there. And so, interesting. See what we get. Nvidia bouncing at the previous close right there, too. Gold pulling back now. We got a minute and a half left, chat. A minute and a half left. Yeah, I'm going to wait till the opening bell. It's so close. All right, here we go, guys. We got about a minute left at the open. We just cracked under it, though, finally. Tested it 3 times. Yeah, earnings still making AVGO move down a lot from its earnings report. AVGO has gone from 424s down to 340s. Honestly, I'm thinking about buying Broadcom. It's high, though. P ratio is high for AVGO. It has the high average, but it's higher than average. Around 75 to 90 is mid-December. All right, guys, here we go. We got the opening bell. 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We appreciate it. Hasset on the shutdown says he's confident it won't happen again. All right, here we go. 5 seconds. And here's the bell, guys. Again, if that bell was delayed, hit the live button next to the play button. You'll catch up to the stream. And a little hack for catching up with everybody's stream is put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up. Nasdaq weak at the opening bell so far. At least we could retrace, though. I got to wait 5 minutes to trade this. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to buy AVGO. I was thinking about it, but the PE ratio is still kind of high. I'll look at it. I don't know if I'm going to buy it yet, though. Whoa, Nasdaq just popped up here. Look at this. Tesla, Meta, up at the opening bell. Google up. Apple is up. A lot of Mag 7 stocks are growing green since the opening bell. Nvidia is not necessarily, though, here, which is interesting. Oracle is, though. Look at this. All right, guys, I gotta wait a little bit here. See what we get. Yeah, Bitcoin up, Oracle's popping up here. I might buy a dip here, but we're too close to the bell. I gotta wait. Nvidia just went green on the day. Yeah, my Oracle trade's doing really nice here. Bitcoin popping up at 87.1s right now, 87.1s. The results are at the bottom of the screen, Steven. Payroll data showed 64,000 versus 40 expected. Unemployment uptick to 4.6%. October data showed negative 105,000 jobs. November data showed 64,000 positive jobs versus 40,000 expected. So kind of mixed results. Yeah, I'm going to wait for AVGO. Once I check the PE ratio and some of the trends, I'm going to wait. Nvidia just turned back downside, though, here. Meta's ripping up, though. Meta looks good. If we get a pullback to 75, I'll buy that. I think we'll have enough time too. If not, I'm not going to buy it. But if we get a pullback to 75, maybe I'll buy it. 275 on the NASDAQ. Hasset to reporters on jobs data says unemployment rate should come down. And he ended his comments on CNBC. He said the productivity boom is coloring all the data. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna buy. Oh, I'm lagging here. Hold on. I just tried to buy it. Nothing's happening. Anybody else down? Frozen here. Weird. Yep. That's what I'm showing here for me too. I wanted to buy this 275. Hopefully, I don't know if it got me in or not. I clicked buy. I'm going to just leave this chart out. I was trying to buy it right here at 275. I'm still a little mad I didn't catch it. Remember, I wanted this number right here. And now I don't know what's going on in the trade. It doesn't say I entered it here. Yeah. So. Nvidia's still falling. I could have scalped it, but I don't know what's going on right now. Again, 945. We got flash services and manufacturing PMI data. All right, so it looks like it's back up for T-step. Mine's not loading right now. Well, not loading. Frozen. I shouldn't have even messed with it here, look. It's alright. We'll put the NASDAQ up on this chart. Nvidia's breaking down here. Look, here's the NQ. NASDAQ right around 281s. That's starting to break down right now as we speak here. Again, we got flash services and manufacturing data. We get Nvidia about down to 175. It might bounce at 75. NASDAQ back up to 304s. Oof, that 275 level would have worked. All right. Next time. Yeah, I'm still down. Top step X. Yeah, I'm wondering if AWS is down again. Nvidia back up. And again, just to put this in perspective, I'm still kind of mad about it. I wanted to buy. Remember, I said if we pull back to 275, I'll probably buy it. Here's 275. You know? Top 3 best buy. It would have been right there, I think. All right. That's all right. Yeah, Oracle's pumping. I added to my Oracle position as well. Morning. It looks good. I'm very green in my stats today, but again, we're trying to make a move up. We're at 25,280s. Hasset says, I expect to see more manufacturing jobs in 6 months. Yeah, it's frozen right now. Ish. Fortunately. I'll just day trade some stocks. You guys would like that, right? Got a short Nvidia right here. Free might get mad at me. Well, let me see what I should trade. Been a while since I day traded stocks. We'll short it. See how this goes. Needed more than this. We'll add a little bit to it here. Little baby trade. But you know what? Sometimes that's what it takes. Alright, we're 100 shares short. Took half off there just to lock the profit in. Maybe add back on a retracement here. Alright, we're back in full size. Take what? 150 shares short. Maybe add a piece of this here. Alright, we're in 200 shares short. I want to give it a second here. But you don't love to see this. I want to see if it rejects the VWAP right here, though. That's what I want to see. Alright, we're in an Nvidia short here. Got a rejection at the VWAP. I'm gonna take some of my size off right here. We're almost green on the day. There we go. Alright, we took half of it off. Take some more off down here. 50 shares left, short. You know what? We're gonna take most of this off because we're so green on it. I'll leave the rest. Alright, I'm out. Beautiful trade. You love to see it. Build up some cushion in actual stocks. Yeah, I know right now, Mo. I know it's down. All right. I already did my plug, bro. I'll do another one later, but. What else we got going on today? We're very green on the day now, which is nice. Shout out to NVIDIA. Do I want to short into another pop? I don't think so. Not right now. Maybe I should have. Hindsight's 2020 though. Here's 175. Let's see if 175 can prop NVIDIA up right there. Again, we got flash and manufacturing. Yeah, we got 3 minutes until data comes out here. So I'm going to put up like gold. Here's gold. Here's the NASDAQ on the top. Here's Bitcoin on the right. We'll see what this does. Again, flash services and manufacturing PMI 945 today. 945. All right, here we go. We got a minute and a half, guys. A minute and a half. Again, flash services and manufacturing PMI 945 Eastern Standard Time today. It does go live. It's expected today at... Services expected at 54. Manufacturing expected at 52. Again, 54 for services. Manufacturing 52. Let's see what we get. NASDAQ still breaking down here. Here we go. We got 40 seconds left. 40 seconds left. I don't know how much this is going to move markets. We'll see. I'm not going to put a timer up right now. We got about 30 seconds left. 30 seconds. All right, here we go. 20 seconds. Bitcoin back over 87s. All right, guys, here we go. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and here's a report. All right, both of them weaker than expected. Services 52.9 versus 54 expected. Manufacturing 51.8 versus 52 expected. Both of them were weaker than expected. Services were more weak than versus expected than manufacturing data. Services showed 52.9 versus 54, weaker. Manufacturing showed 51.8 versus 52, weaker. So weaker data showing up in markets. NASDAQ is not liking it. It's coming down here on this report at 230s. Bitcoin's coming down on this report as well. Weaker services and manufacturing than expected here. Yeah, weaker than expected. Services and both manufacturing. All right, guys. So yeah, weaker services and manufacturing than expected here. Top 7X still down, unfortunately. Yeah, all good. Where's NVIDIA at? NVIDIA's rangy today, man. Look, there's 175. Remember, we talked about 175. Here's 175 right here. Oh, I want to short this now. I don't know. Let's see. Broadcom giving a lot of it back. Oracle right at the previous closing price. The big pop up here. I'm gonna wait. Yeah, so Top Step said we're aware on the impact that is currently affecting traders. All right, look at NVIDIA go green on the day here. I will buy a potential dip if we get one. We don't really have any data coming live right now, so see if we can trade this here. It depends on if we hold right here, though. I want to see if we hold. We're at the top of the range. I would buy this, but if it doesn't work, a lot of the time you can get like a big squeeze down. So I'm just gonna wait. We're also over the 200 EMA here, though. See what we get. Broadcom, Oracle both pulled back. All right, I'm gonna buy this here. Might add a little bit more. Let's see. Add a little bit more here. 50. Nice. Take that off. Hold the rest. It keeps pushing. Let it break even now. It's why, like, listen, bring back single stock futures. I would love that. All right, we're out. Watch 77 here. We can watch 77.50. This is a toss right now. I want to buy this 200 exponential here. The dip. I don't want to. Yeah, let's see if we hold now. The tail rate's flying back up. It's at $12 a share. It all depends on whether that rescheduling happens. I haven't looked at CGC stock in years. It's up too, though. It depends on if the rescheduling happens. All right, look at the NASDAQ just jump up here. 177s. Look at the NASDAQ. 177s on NVIDIA. The NASDAQ up to 25,374s right now. We are pushing. There's 0 commissions on toss. So ripping up Bitcoin over 87.5s again. NASDAQ up to 24.4s. Just about. You get Oracle up to 187.30s here. Oracle popped back up too. I almost want to short this now. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Don't copy me. I don't even claim to be a good trader. Not an investment professional. Some of the links are affiliate or sponsored links. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. Meta is flying up. Oracle too. Should have shorted, it looks like, but I don't know if this is going to hold well. Yeah, honestly, it was kind of weird. So we didn't have data for like a month and a half, right? But during that period of time, my morning streams almost got better. Like we started getting more views. We used to average like 400 or 500 people in the morning streams. Now we average like 900, 800, 1,000. You know, and then the big data releases, like we had 2,500 here for NFP. So it almost helped not having data because it made people pay attention to the normal streams anyway. It's all relative to how much news is going on. Like if we got big news, market usually pays more attention to stuff. I think I should have shorted where I said it. It's a little bit too late now. We're at the 200 exponential, so we could bounce here. I am having some fun trading stocks today, though. And I'm reading it well, but see if that continues. I think it's time I get a haircut. I'm looking at myself in the stream. I'm gonna look like Bob Ross pretty soon, you know, if I don't get a haircut. Probably time. Better bail. Nasdaq still creeping up some here. Look like Allison Becker. At first, I thought you were saying I look like a girl. And so I was like, let me Google this real quick to make sure I should interpret this as an insult. And then I Googled it, and it's like a Brazilian soccer player. What a name. What a name. I do kind of look like this, though. You know, this is me after I have a really good trade, you know, that's me right here, apparently. That's me right there. All right, we did bounce at the 200 exponential. Bitcoin's still falling back down. It's at 87,000 now. Let's see if it bounces right at 87K right here. All right, guys. Oof. I don't know what to do here, guys. I'm waiting. All right, guys. So I'm waiting here. We're still kind of edging towards the top. Bitcoin did bounce right at 87. Let's see if it holds. I think I'm already in Netflix, to be honest, so I can't really add more to it. All right, guys, so we are pushing higher at 177. Nasdaq's trying to get over that 25,400 level. Let's see if it does. Bitcoin did bounce at 87,000 here, 87K. Yeah, dude, look at Rosie when she was little, dude. This picture popped up yesterday. I'll show you guys Rosie when she was little. Even though I have too many dogs right now, I dream of getting another dog. It's a problem. You know. Alright. I'm gonna keep trading here though, guys. Should have bought the dip, but like, look at Rosie, dude. Just a little pup. Oracle, man, Meta, both ripping higher. You love to see it. Oracle, not so much. Meta is, though. But that's Rosie when she was a little baby. Yeah, I don't think I can have more than 2 dogs right now. Not German Shepherds. Oh. Yeah, we hit 177.50s here. 177.50s. Gold still edging higher, but it's at 43.55. I want to see if it breaks all-time highs. Yeah, I can't get a third one. 2 is difficult enough. Again, September business inventories rose 0.2% month over month. Not really data that's going to move anything, though. Yeah, Jeremy, I see it. It came in at 0.2% versus previous 0.1%. It's not really going to move anything, though. Not really. Gold up, though. Meta higher. Again, we were at 177.20s for NVIDIA, 177.30s. NASDAQ up to 25,395. They usually make it right. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Again, still trying to trade this price action, guys. I just don't know what to do. Trying to stick around and trade for you guys. Would you guys like me to keep my stream going this long every day? Hey, later, Corey. Sorry to hear you, Yair. Yes? 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 Yeah. I mean, look, we'll try to keep it going maybe a little bit longer every day. I don't know about too long, though. To be honest, the longer we go on, the less good my trading gets. My trading's usually good in the very, like, first, like, 30, 45 minutes every day, I'm better. But after that, it's a little bit sketchy for me. If I stare at charts too long, I start seeing things. You know? I start seeing patterns that aren't there. And I'm like, you know what? Let me take a trade. And then I just lose. So, I gotta just stick with what's good. I'll try to keep going longer, though. What's up, Femi? Yeah, maybe 10:30. That's a good time. Y'all know how it is. Alright, y'all are a bunch of day traders, mostly, anyway. Y'all know how it goes. You stare at charts, you're gonna start seeing trades that aren't there. It's gonna look like an A+ setup. Really, it's a D-. You know? And you're gonna take it anyway because you're bored. You've been staring at charts for 45 minutes or an hour. Start seeing the Matrix. Yeah. And we're not Neo. I'll put it that way. We're not Neo. We're Cypher. You know, we think we're Neo, but we're really just Cypher. You know. Yeah, we're definitely not Trinity. That's for sure. All right, guys, NASDAQ up to 25,350. Technically green on the day. Again, look at the previous closing price. Previous closing price is here. That's basically where the NASDAQ is right now. Bank of America Global Research cuts AMD devices price objective to 260 from 300. Again, business inventory is 0.2% versus 0.1% expected. Jackal. Tesla's moving. Honestly, with Bruce Willis, The Jackal is a great movie. Loved it as a kid. Loved it. And I haven't watched it in about 15 years, but great movie. I'm calling the market bottom for crypto. What are your thoughts? You know, brother, I've heard a lot of people call a lot of different bottoms for Bitcoin. I hope it's true. I hope it's at the bottom right now. But I also think there's a lot of confirmation bias in there. Like, people want it to be the bottom, and so they say it is, right? The problem is that I have no idea what Bitcoin's going to do short term. Long term, I'm bullish in Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to go up long term. I have no idea, though. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. But short term, I genuinely have no idea where Bitcoin's going. I hope it bottoms out and goes up, but you never know. Like, basically, I hope you're right. I'm thinking about buying this dip now. I'm gonna buy 77. Retrace so fast. Love to see it. And if we get another test, I don't really like it that much. It looks weaker if we get another one. Maybe I'm just talking myself out of the trade. Talked myself out of it. I wanted 177 here. That's all right. All right. Meta just broke highs again, or it's getting ready to. It looks like it's about to break highs again. All right, I'm showing Top Step is back up. I am showing we are back up today. So far. I think we're back up. All right, so I'm gonna try to build up a cushion first, and then slowly add to it. Hold on. This is the E-mini. Yeah, I'm back up. Okay, cool. Very sideways though here, but hold on. I'll buy 75. Or no, yeah, we'll buy 75. Filled. Whoa. Dude, it just talked to me. It just talked to me here. I'm gonna have to cut a piece of this. Filled. Yeah, I'm out. Wait, I thought I had two. What just happened? Okay, we lost a little bit. Look at this drop showing up in markets right now, though. All right, we're gonna start buying. Filled.
Order filled.
Good, so now it's talking to me, huh? Every time I buy, it talks? I gotta turn that off. I think it reset the settings.
Order filled.
Oh my gosh, dude, there's two people saying it simultaneously.
Order filled.
All right, we're in 4 contracts here. We'll see what happens. All right, we're back up to almost green.
Order filled.
Whoa, I didn't just buy again, dude. What? How did it just buy another one? I didn't even click anything there. Maybe it's time for me to cut this trade.
Order filled.
Okay, it's talking to me too much. I don't like this. And then I had a rogue order getting filled. I was basically coming all the way back. Okay, yeah, I gotta cut this.
Order filled.
We're down on the trade. I don't know if it's my good day to trade. We had a rogue order get filled randomly there. It was very strange. So, if I do trade, maybe we'll trade on this one. But I think I'm just gonna cut out of here now. Yeah, mine was talking to me, dude. I don't want to restart it. It might not work if I restart it, guys. I think I could have held. I would have made money just now, too. You know, the talking to me freaked me out. I got a random order going through. Ugh. Let me go to settings here. I think I fixed it. Weird. It's a weird price action day. I would just be careful. Labor Secretary said November jobs report shows our economy continues to gain momentum, and importantly, the growth we are seeing is concentrated in the private sector, according to him. Look at this retracement all the way back up here. Weird. Wait. A video recording screenshots so I don't get too screwed. Yeah, well, I mean, considering we're in a live stream with 750 people now, you know, I think we're still here. I don't know what we're gonna get here though. We'll see. Market went up and now it's kind of chopping sideways. It looks like it could turn over, but it's a weird market. Yeah, I'll show you guys me trading on this other account again. I got myself back to green. And so we're currently up some. I might add some to this and see if we can. It's doing it again, bro. I just turned it off and now it's back doing it.
Order filled.
What the heck is going on with this order filled stuff? I mean, we're going to be green probably no matter what. But man, there we go. Popping back up. Strange. Come on, give me the bull action here. There we go. We're trading with the cushion on the day here. I'm gonna add maybe
order filled. Order filled.
2 more to this. See if we pop back up higher here, but I just don't want the bottom to drop out. We got 300 that I'm gonna use as a risk level in this one. There's 300. We just tapped it. Hey, thank you, crypto. Appreciate it. Let's see if we bounce here. Again, we're right here by my risk level. Uh-oh. I was just disconnected. Yeah, we're gonna be down small now, I think. Wait. It's not letting me exit. Oh no. What have I done here? Oh no. Oh no. Guys. Alright. I was basically flat on the day. I think I might have been down $100. Well, Hopefully it just rips higher and I go super green on the day, but hey, thank you for the donation, crypto. I don't what is that? 100,000 Indian rupees? See how much money that is. What is that, like $10? $6. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate it. Regardless, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I tried to refresh it didn't work. I'm gonna cut out of here, guys. Listen, y'all be good. Have a great day. Yeah. I gotta watch the NASDAQ get a little bit closer here. Again, as soon as I close the stream, it'll bring you closer. It'll bring you to tomorrow's stream. I mean, I'll stick around here with you guys, but daughter's asking for money. Yeah, look, I'm gonna close the stream down, I guess. I'll let you guys know how this goes. Again, as soon as I close the stream, it's gonna bring you to tomorrow's stream. Y'all stick around, be ready for that. See how that goes. And yeah, y'all be good. Have a great day. See you guys later. Y'all be good. Remember, not an investment professional. Check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. I bought Netflix a while back. My average price in Netflix. We're actually down a little bit in Netflix. Our average price is 98 something. But it's a small trade. I think we took profit on it already, to be honest. But yeah, y'all be good. Again, I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early. CPI later this week and more. A lot of stuff happening. Y'all be ready. I'll see you guys then. Again, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Make your own assessment. Trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. Don't copy me.